were blowing, and everybody did the bump. But all the time, Bertha had been working on a goodie. Now folks call it the Bertha Butt. When Bertha Butt did a goodie, she started the Bertha Butt boogie. No question.
Yes, 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 and good morning, one and all. Good morning, all and one. Welcome to Glenda, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Scotty Bonner. What an absolute blessing, honor, and privilege it is to be here with you today. I cannot tell you, as I never can, how excited I am to be here with you and to have you here with me. We got a very special program today. Mr. John Beeson, one of the players for the Carolina Tar Heels, is going to be calling into the show. We're going to be calling him, depending on how the technological waves in the air pass each other. Ooh, forgot to. Hard Hat Award winner this week, so I want to give a little shout out to my daughter, who myself and I have been struggling on the picks, but we're going to get to all that. We're going to dive into all that. First and foremost, welcome to Glenda, everybody. I am your host, Scotty Bonner. This is our live sports and entertainment talk show for you, for me, for us. Together, we grow and get better and better at life by the end of the episode. That's always the goal. First and foremost, though, as we do every morning on Glenda, we want to salute one another for being here, so I want to give you the Glenda Moose good morning salute. So welcome everybody to the show, and take your beautifully designed opposable thumbs, depress them upon your temples, not pressing too hard. We do not want to cause vasodilation, so as I always say, safety second, but OSHA requires that I read that disclaimer. Crossing your digits in front of yourself, lowering your head, and coming back up in a sunflower-esque motion towards the sun. Let's give each other the Glenda morning salute. So welcome to Glenda, everybody, and away we go. Oh my. And the Welcome to Glenda program is now officially, I suppose, as you should say, or spell, or think, or believe, underway. I am your host, Scotty Bonner. What a blessing, honor, and privilege it is to be here with you today. Like I said, we got Mr. John Beeson coming on at 11 o'clock. He's a member of the Carolina Tar Heels. Of course, they got the big one coming up at PNC Arena Monday night, which your host, right here, me, I will be doing the play-by-play right here on Glenda Love Broadcasting. It's going to be a good one. It's the biggest game down here each year in college hockey, as they say. We had Mr. Wade Minter on yesterday from the Carolina Hurricanes. He's the voice of the PA announcer, or the public address announcer, or the MC, if you will. At the games, very thirsty today. I was running around this morning. Hoo-wee. A lot going on in the world of sports. A lot going on in our world of locks and picks, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even know what to say to you guys anymore. I feel shame. My daughter and I have gone. We've gone ice cold, and you know what? I mean, there are two options now. We're at the crossroads. We're like Ralph Macchio, whom I had the pleasure of meeting not too long ago, about I guess 2 months ago now. I'm not sure. It was a Comic-Con here in Raleigh, and we went. The missus and the kids, and people were there all dressed up. I put on a Captain America shirt. That was as far as I was going. I wasn't getting dressed up as the Hulk or anything. I would have, of course, but I found out at the last second that Lou Ferrigno was going to be there, and I didn't want to embarrass the guy. He's a little bit older and everything, so I figured, all right, I'll just wear a T-shirt. So we went to the Comic-Con, and we had this little section there for Karate Kid, because they got the new show. What's the new show on YouTube? Stanley, do you know the new show on YouTube? I think I forgot what it's called. I watched a couple episodes of it. It was really good, but I wasn't going to pay for another channel. I refuse to pay for anything anymore. So I am, as you know, get off my lawn, grumpy old man, and I'm also, quarter Jewish. So I don't, I couldn't, because I'll end up paying for Netflix, I'll end up paying for Amazon, I'll end up paying for YouTube, I'll end up paying, cut the cord, everything's free, and then, oh my God, I'm paying $200 a month just so, I can have each individual channel. And, well, I really want to watch this, old Godzilla movies and the Islanders. Speaking of which, that's another story. We're gonna dive into the deep or shallow end as we continue on our journey here together. Uh, but yeah, I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Ralph Macchio at Comic Con. He was there, and Johnny was there, and actually I don't know his name, but the older sensei from the original movie. Fear does not exist in this dojo, does it? No, sensei, of course not. Um, so I walk up, to Ralph on the side. It was towards the end of the night. They were starting to break stuff down, and he's standing there. And I was surprised he was a lot taller than I ever imagined in person. I've seen him a bunch of times at the old Coliseum, and he's got the greatest bobblehead ever, sports bobblehead ever created. It's Danielson with his bandana, an Islander bandana, and his Islander jersey in the cream, technique, which of course, as you know, if done correct, no can defend. So I bumped into him, and I stroll over on the side. You're supposed to pay to go shake the guy's hand. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So I just sneak over on the side. I'm like, hey Ralph, what's going on? He's like, hey, what's up? I'm like, yeah, I'm a big Islander fan. So he goes, yeah, I'm a big Islander fan too. And I'm like, yeah, Ralph, I know that. That's why I said I was an Islander fan. He goes, oh yeah. I'm like, I wouldn't just walk up and, hey Ralph, how's it going? I'm an Islander fan. He'd be like, oh, that's great. I'm a huge Canuck, fan. So we started chatting a little bit, and he said to me, and this was one of my greatest Islander fan moments I'll ever have. He said to me, if I ever see John Tavares, I'm going to crane kick that mother. Feel like figure out that I'm going to crane kick that mother effer right in the face and knock his blank out. And I just lost it. I got to have the Karate Kid, Danielson LaRusso, say to me face to face that if he ever saw Tavares anywhere, he was going to crane kick him and knock him out. I was like, wow, that's how deep the love runs for the blue and orange. Because, as an Islander fan, we're a unique bunch of tortured individuals that it's like an abusive relationship, and we just won't leave. And I don't mean to make light of it, or start hashtag you tooing me or whatever, me tooing me or whatever it is. I'm not doing that, okay? Please don't start throwing beers at me and calling me Kavanaugh. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's like literally. I mean the organization, constantly, and again it happened this year when Tavares left and went for Toronto. At least though we did get Lewintrot, so things are definitely at least looking better. We started to lose a couple of games now, which was inevitably going to happen, and they don't have a great roster, but it's just when you meet a diehard Islander fan, you got so much in common with the guy. You just look at each other like, yeah, I know, man. I'm it's like a support group, really. It's more of a support group than fans getting together at this point after the last. Oh boy, when was 1989? That was how long ago? 99. We do a lot of math on this. Oh, we're gonna get into math too, by the way. 99, 09, 19. So almost like the last 30 years. Have been, with a little bit of spurts of mediocrity sprinkled in on top of the poop, just to keep us, occupied, I guess, keep us going a little bit, give us a little bit of crumbs from the table. So, that was, I was very excited to get the chance to meet Ralph Macchio. Like I said, I guess it was about 2 months ago now, so that was exciting. And to have, Danielson say that to me, one Islander fan to another, I kind of felt like a bond, one that's pretty much unbreakable. It was unbreakable before he said it, and I think now it's actually quite a little bit deeper than most people can understand and comprehend. Obviously a lot going on in the world of sports because it's October, so there's a ton of things going on. So why wouldn't the NHL start its season in the middle of when everything else is going on? That's another story that we've dove into. I think I'm going to re-dive into it today because. A little bit because it deserves to be talked about. It deserves to be brought to Gary Bettman's attention, in my humble opinion. But one thing, last night, watching the Islander game, late night start out on the West Coast. I love the West Coast games as I gotten older. I used to hate them, like when I was a younger adult, like in my 30s. Like I used to struggle to stay awake for them. And now that I'm older, in my 40s, I don't know why, I love the 10 o'clock starts. I'm not going to say I was completely 100% up for the entire game, but I was up, I would say, for two-thirds of the game. But I mean up and watching, not with my eyes getting heavy and watching. And I thought, in this broadcaster's humble opinion, that the the first period was our best period of the season. I thought we were playing great. We were flying. We're getting to the pucks. We're moving the pucks. We're out shooting them. We're looking good. Grice made a couple of nice saves. Blah blah blah. Yada yada yada. And then we take a penalty, lose the face-off. We take a penalty with like 12 seconds left in the period, lose the face-off in our zone. I don't even know. I got to go back and watch the highlight. I don't even know who took the face-off for the Islanders. Lose the face-off cleanly. Back to the point, shot from the point, saved by Grice, rebound, seeing it, boom. 1-0, with 4 or 5 seconds left in the period. I'm absolutely disgusted. We go into the locker room down 1. I'm like, we just played a great period. And I even said it, too, when he took the penalty. I'm like, and of course it was Brock Nelson, who does not deserve to wear this number over my shoulder. Please, Lou, please trade him, please. I know he's going to score 20 goals. I know he's going to get 40, 50 points, so he's worth something. He's 6'3". Just trade him, please. He's playing well right now. Maybe his stock is up a tick. I mean, whatever. I don't care. Just get rid of him. Sorry. That's the way I feel. So he takes a penalty, cross-checks the guy in the face. We lose the face-off. Bangs him. It's 1-0. And that was, whatever. That happens. As an Islander fan, happens as any fan of any team. But, as an Islander fan of a team that's not going to score too many goals this year, even though we got one of the most exciting players in the NHL. There was a goal last night against the Islanders that was called back. And I thought the right call, actually. It was under Gibson's pad, and Clutterbuck came in and jabbed it, and then Barzal banged it in. But the whole entire shift, Barzell's out there for like 2.5 minutes. I mean, and it is just a ridiculous. It's a ridiculous. If you can go back and find it, we don't have the ability yet on the show to show video clips and everything. So you're just going to have to trust, what comes out of this mind. That's what I remember, and what I remember is absolute truth. And what I want to be the truth is usually what I remember. I'm more than willing at any time to bend reality and memories to suit whatever it is I need to believe at the time. So, but this was pretty recent. This was last night. And Barzal was just dancing with the puck, dancing. He was like Pele with the chalk. I go this, goal, easy. That's the spirit, Lewis. So we did that. We banged it in. It was waved off. I actually didn't have a problem with them waving it off. I have a problem with instant replay just because I'm old and grumpy. But it was actually the right call. But I mean, my God, what a shift by Barzal. But then, I actually think that might have been in the second period. I don't even remember if that was the first period. I think that was the second. I don't even know. Especially the late night games, they blend together. And I wasn't even having adult libations last night. Just time and space and continuum and spinning on the Earth's axis, which changes the angle of the Earth. Every 30 or so years, the angle of the Earth is not actually always the same. Imagine that, changing the distance between the Earth and the Sun could actually change the temperature. So I get to the end of the first period, completely, disgruntled. I get up, check on the hounds. They're doing all right. They don't need anything. Cats are fighting upstairs, because that's just what they do 24/7, but only at night. Especially late at night, especially right after you fall asleep. They always seem to know. They're like, hey, look, everybody's sleeping. And it's great. So I get up, and this is the part that really, upsets me, and I got to blame myself for letting it upset me, I guess. But it's that time of year right now. We're in the end of October. Heading towards we're 2 weeks out from Halloween or whatever. And the only one thing that I actually enjoy about Halloween, I'm not a Halloween person. I don't like Halloween. I just don't like it. I can't wait to. I shouldn't say this, but I'm not gonna say it. But I don't personally. But I do the trick or treat and go around with the kids because the kids like it. So you gotta do things that the kids like sometimes. So that's fine. But so I get up, go into the kitchen, and it's that time of year. So what do I have? In my cabinet, that Count Chocula, right? I mean, and that's and I know that Count Chocula is even more special on the scale of amount of time that you have it in your life each year now than the McRib. The McRib comes out, everybody makes a big deal about it, rightfully so, and you see, when it's over, at the end of the McRib, when they take the McRib away. Which is so smart by McDonald's. There's nothing smarter by McDonald's than taking the McRib away. You take the McRib away, I mean, you just see, people, of all, everything, sexes, races, religions, faiths, everybody. It's like, it crosses all lines of, like, language and everything. Everybody just looks at each other the day after it's taken away, and they're just like, you just see, like, you'll walk into McDonald's and you'll just see somebody with their head down on the counter when and you know what happened? They went in, they ordered the McRib, and the guy or the girl, now the computer screen, thank you, $15 an hour, tells you, the McRib, it's over, and you just got to look at each other, and you just got, limited time, limited time, and that amount of limited time that the McRib is available is still a bigger window. Because if I'm not mistaken, and I usually am not, especially when it comes to things like this, the McRib is around more than once a year. I think the McRib comes out 2 or 3 times a year for like 2 weeks, a shot. I don't know if they have it on a set schedule, or I wonder if they have it at times when like Burger King is running like a special, like get 17 quadruple whoppers for $3 or something. Because Burger King is just McDonald's has gone the way of like the McCafe and the salads and the hard boiled egg, and you can get apple crisps instead of French fries in your Happy Meal and whatever. I understand it's not good for you, McDonald's. And Burger King has been like, no, you know what? Screw that. We're not, we're Burger King. And they're like, we're just going to make Whoppers bigger and higher and better. It's like triple Whopper. And they're like, McDonald's will come out with a new, McCafe, artisan grilled chicken, only 180 calories if you eat it just the chicken. And the chicken's nothing but, grass fed. The chicken's not even allowed to walk on its bare talons. We put socks on the chicken, and we make sure that, there's no antibiotics in the chicken, and the chicken is, cared for in the greatest of ways, and this is the most delicious pure chicken that has ever walked the earth, and we have captured it and put it on this artisan bun for you, and it's just absolutely magnifique. When you come to McDonald's Cafe, you do not dine. It's not it should even be a drive-through here. It should only be, the waiter, white glove service with artisan chicken. Yes, McCafe, and here have a some sort of, coffee. Iced cappuccino, macchiato, it's pumpkin, whatever. We're going to get into pumpkin. And Burger King is like, screw that. We're just going to make, a pentagon, Whopper where it's shaped, where there's 5 stacks of meat on there, and boom, and here you go. And then, McDonald's will come out with new chicken, and Burger King will be like, all right, fine, we're just going to, we'll just make 6. Whatever it takes. That's all Burger King does, and it's fantastic. It's just a fantastic, thing to watch in marketing. So, where's I going with all that? Well, anyway, so I take out my you need to go out, you chubby dog? Hold on, folks. It's a live show, and I'm the only one home. Okay, Chubby. There you go. Good girl. She's chubby. Look at her chubby. That's our chubby. We got a chubby dog, and we got an old grumpy, smelly dog. There he is. All right. So that's Carmela LaFonda. But the Count Chocula is only around maybe a month, head to toe. It came out. I started seeing it a couple of weeks ago. Right after Halloween, it's gone. I don't do. I'm not against it. I'm not. But no offense. To them. I like Pink. I'm a fan of Pink. I have a daughter who plays hockey. Hard Hat Award winner this week. But I don't. Frankenberry and Blueberry, really don't do it for me. Count Chocula is the greatest cereal ever created by man, and it's General Mills. It's not Kellogg's, thank God, because I won't eat anything from Kellogg's. It's another story for another time. But then all of a sudden, I don't know when this happened. It's been a while now, 10, 15 years maybe. Maybe they decided they sell more Count Chocula by taking it away using the McRib model. Of taking things away, of not giving the public what they want all the time. Because I used to have a bowl of Count Chocula, every night, faithfully, for 15 years growing up. I finished my day. It was like, I can remember Thursday nights. The Cosby Show came on. Cosby Show was, can I still talk about this? Is that okay? Am I going to upset anybody? The Cosby Show would finish. Dr. Huxtable changed the whole world. And between the Cosby Show and Family Ties, Alex P. Keaton and the Keatons, big Indian fans in Ohio. My 2 all-time favorite shows, back-to-back, Belly to Belly every Thursday night. Then Cheers and Night Court came on. I like Cheers and Night Court, but I always felt that those were more not, I don't know, I guess I couldn't relate to them because there wasn't children in them very much. It wasn't family-orientated. One was a bar, and one was, when you got arrested after the bar. And they were good shows, don't get me wrong, but the Cosby Show and Family Ties, for me, were just, I was, like I had my other shows that I loved, growing up, of course, the A-Team, Dukes of Hazzard. I think what? Oh, now the other pooch wants to go out. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, live and alone. Go ahead, Lord Stanley. Go ahead, baby. Go. He has a lot of trouble walking, but he's getting out there. He's out there. Oh, careful. Okay. Come on in, you chubby thing. Chubby. Good girl. Look at you, chubby. Yeah, you're chubby. No, go sit down. I'll give you COKIE or KY after the show. Do not step on the wires. No, I'll give you later. You good girl. I know. I'm supposed to give it to you. I know. Oh, she's giving me the stink eye. She's like, Daddy, I held up my end of the bargain. I went outside. You didn't do what you were supposed to do. Bad job, Daddy. Bad Daddy. Bad Daddy. Well, all right, she's positioning herself on the couch. She's quite athletic. There she goes. She's up. So yeah, I would always have a bowl of Count Chocula right around 8:30 at night, but it used to happen to land right in between the Cosby Show and the start of Family Ties, and I don't know, honestly how my life would be looking back and how reflecting in a mirror with a mirror behind me, so it keeps going to look at how it would have been without Count Chocula. So now Count Chocula is not available all year long. It's just a small little Halloween window, which I think is stupid. I mean, I'm such an old Count Chocula fan. It's like I remember having Count Chocula when Steve Grogan was on the field for the Patriots. But to show you how old of a Patriot fan I am, because I always have to preface that these days. Oh, you're a Patriot fan, because of Brady and Belichick. Yes, that's nice and all. But that was just a bonus. That was like me being rewarded for being an Islander fan, a Knicks fan, and a Met fan. God was like, let him have something. We'll give him New England, the one place he doesn't live in. But hey, there's a lot more than nothing. So I go back to remember when Count Chocula had just a little dots of marshmallow? It was just like a little. It looked like a marshmallow, but it was a tiny dot. And then they switched it to a bigger marshmallow piece, but it looked like sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it looked like a decal for a Dracula. Come on, hey, come on, stop it. We're doing a live show here. Can't be barking on TV. Can't be barking on TV. Boy, knock it off. So, I used to prefer much more when it had just a little marshmallow. First of all, it was more dense. I don't know. I doubt that they actually made, even though the shape looked bigger, but it got a lot thinner. You know what I mean? So I'll bet you a dozen Do Nuts jellied that it was the same amount of product that was used in the new shaped marshmallow, which is just pure, like sugar. But those things are like gold. Like when you get to the end of the bowl, and you got like 8 or 10 of the regular pieces of chocolate cereal, which are good because it ends up making the chocolate milk. Not like the Cocoa Puffs chocolate milk, not that type. It doesn't turn into Yoo-Hoo, which Cocoa Puffs literally turns into Yoo-Hoo, and Cocoa Krispies literally turns into Yoo-Hoo. But the Count Chocula milk does turn into a nice, I wouldn't say dark brown layer of chocolate milk, but it turns into a nice Hershey's liquid chocolate milk at the bottom, but that you only squeeze around once, and mixed it in. The Cocoa Krispies and Cocoa Puffs bowl, when you're done, you're literally drinking like Yoo-Hoo, and I mean like the bottom of Yoo-Hoo. You ever drink the Yoo-Hoo, especially during the summer on a warm one, and you drink it and you shook it up because it says, shake it, it's great, I'm not an instruction reader or paying attention or much of instructions, but on the Yoo-Hoo can't see anything it says. It's shake it, it's great. So it's shake it, it's great. I mean, okay, you're not telling me, bad things going to happen. If I shake it, it's great, or shake it because it's great, or just, it's great. So, or is it better when I shake it? I don't know. I just shook it. It said shake, it's great. I shook, So then you get, you'll get that excuse me, I gotta let Stanley in. You get that big, come on in, big baby. Come on, baby, be careful. Careful. Chubby took your spot on the couch. Look at her, she's chubby. Now he's gonna go over there and growl. Because he's so old. I gotta pick him up to put him on the couch, but you don't mind that. First world problems, ladies and gentlemen. First world problems. So, you'd be chugging on the Yoo-Hoo, and then all of a sudden that clump, at the bottom, breaks loose, and comes down. You're like, oh, and you're like, it's a can, so you can't really see what's in there, and you just gotta have faith that was just, a lump of what was powdered, Yoo-Hoo magic sugar, because nobody even knows what actually is in Yoo-Hoo. I don't want to know. It's like when people try to tell you, if there was a nuclear war, Twinkies and cockroaches would be the only thing that exists. Okay, at least something good exists, just like, it's like if it happened, I'd be avoiding the cockroaches and looking for the Twinkies. I'm not a complicated man. So, the Count Chocula, come over here, baby. You can't get up there by yourself. The Count Chocula milk is a much lighter milk at the bottom, still chocolatey, but I would say it's 2/3 to 70% milk and a third to 30% chocolate. And the reason I could do that so quickly in my head is because I don't do and haven't done and wasn't raised on and will not allow it in my house, the new core math, which we'll dive into a little bit later. Some stats came out about that. Fantastic. And I think that, I would say people in Vegas and bookies around the world are rejoicing in the lack of math abilities and math skills that have been declining in our great nation since the new core math has been instituted, implemented, and most importantly, indoctrinated into the youth of today. But, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, this isn't a math podcast. This isn't fun with math. This isn't, math and you. This is sports and entertainment, and you are on Glenda. So welcome to Glenda, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to use our technological skills right now, and we're going to give a call to Mr. John Beeson. He is a member of the Carolina Tar Heels hockey organization. He has got a monstrosity of a game coming up on Monday, the big one at PNC. If you live in the Triangle, get your butt to PNC, ladies and gentlemen, 7 p.m. Come see the Tar Heels and the Wolfpack go at it. I'm telling you won't be disappointed. These games are absolutely fantastic. If you can't make it or you don't live in the Triangle, good news for you. You've already got the link. It's on our YouTube channel. It'll be on our Boxcast channel. Tune in 7 p.m. Monday night for the big one. Play-by-play hosted by yours truly, Scotty Bonner, who, I think that I can honestly say our relationship, we've come to, know and love one another. So you can look forward to that on Monday night. But let's give the young man a call. Let's see here. We're going to use our technology. I love technology, not as much as you see, but I still, oh boy, there we go, love technology. Let's see, now I'm like, did I save his number? Texted him, seemed like I saved it, thought I saved it, there it is. Yeah, I misspelled John, the H is silent. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to hit dial together on 3. I told him I call him at 11. It's 10:59. Kind of feel bad. Hope he's awake. All right, we're going for it. What happened? FaceTime? No. We don't want FaceTime. I don't want FaceTime anybody. Look at his face. There we go. Aha. All right, ladies. Hello, is this Mr. John?
This is.
Hey, John, you are on live, so just wanted to let you know that. So if you have anything that you need to say or any bodily sound effects, just, press mute. And, just want to let you know the world is listening and the world is your oyster, young man. How are you this morning?
I am doing great. How are you?
Much better now that I'm talking to you. Welcome to Glenda. You're on the Welcome to Glenda sports program here in the Triangle. And we now have on the phone live Mr. John Beeson. He is a member of the University of North Carolina Tar Heels Hockey Club. Very excited to have you on. How are you today, and what are you doing? Because the fans want to know to prepare for Monday night's big tilt at PNC Arena, young man.
Well, I'm doing well this morning. And I don't know, for ever since our last tournament where we had like 6 games and taking it easy. We've been doing a lot of stretching, dynamic stretching, continuing to run our systems and everything during practice. Just making sure everybody's sort of honing in everything, and just making sure we're also not overdoing it and keeping our bodies well for the game.
And you sound mentally alert at all times.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, our coach is very good at sort of keeping up with us and sort of being on the same page about what systems we're running, what power play, penalty kill, lines, breakouts, like everything. So we're really aware about what we're trying to run on Monday.
Excellent, and I'm hoping also as a Tar Heel fan myself and broadcaster, and I don't bring impartiality to the broadcaster to the game. If you're a Wolfpack fan, and you don't want a homer. Change the station, but you won't enjoy yourself as much. I guarantee that because you'd rather just be mad at me. But I'm happy to hear. Speaking with coaches, speaking with you, sounds like you guys are pushing back against the injury bug, which really bit you guys. You guys were almost, I would say, infested with it early in the season. How are some of the injuries coming along for some of the key members of the organization?
Yeah, no, that really hurt really quick, and it really, like you said, it sneaks up on you. Like out of nowhere, some of our key players were gone, and it's really tough to adjust to things like that. And so, I mean, you do what you do. You have to play with the cards that you're dealt with. You have to keep your heads up, and I think we've all done a fairly good job at that, and just not really changing anything from what we were originally planning on doing. Sometimes people might have to do double shift, and it can get very tiring. But it's you just have to play through it. You have to push through, and sooner rather than later, we'll be back to full strength, and I'm looking forward to that. I think we'll have Connor back on Monday, which will be great. So, the more people, the merrier, and we just don't want to push it with them because, we've had a rough couple of games. We don't want to have them come back early and risk getting hurt because we're a great team when we're full strength. So.
Yeah, you guys are a very good team this year. I thought the first game I saw you guys play. Oh gosh, I can't remember now. It's been a little while. Who the first game this year? I saw you guys play. Did the game, and I said to the coach, I'm like, oh man, you guys got a good team this year. You guys are looking solid. You guys got 3 full lines. You got really good goaltending. You guys have 3 good goaltenders, which unfortunately you can only play one at a time. But all three.
Right. No, it was against Christopher Newport, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it was probably because there was
that was a great game. Like everybody was buying into the systems. That was a very just textbook. We did what we had to do. We showed out. The power play is hitting on all cylinders. I think we had 2 power play goals that game. Face-offs, right off the bat, we were just jumping on it. And so that just goes to show you what we can do with a full strength team. But even when you have a short strength team, like against St. Joe's, everybody just had the attitude and had the will. It wasn't the result we wanted, but we were probably playing with maybe 9 or 10 forwards, maybe less. And so that it's really hard to do that. But against a very good St. Joe's team who beat Wake Forest, we were able to go out and show that we can still compete with them.
Yeah, I thought actually that St. Joe's game, I thought the first 2 periods may have been your guys' best periods of the season. And then unfortunately, it literally was just a matter of math. You guys didn't have the horses on the bench. You could see you just, ran out of a little bit of gas. Don't like to make excuses. I'm not an excuse-making guy, but when you do only have a limited amount of people on the bench, it does wear on you, especially in a tournament where you're playing 3 games in 3 days. That was something that doesn't show up on the scorecard. But if you're there every night, you realize, oh man, these guys are
Yeah, I mean fatigue will just hit you, and there's not much you can really do. But we were able to sort of keep that in check as long as we could. Kept it a close game the whole time, but it's it happens.
Yeah, well, that's good. But now you guys are well rested going into this big one here at PNC. I think you guys haven't played. This will be like 2 weeks, I think, right? You had a little break off?
It will have been 2 weeks, yeah, it will.
Yeah, it couldn't have come at a better time. Not that, you don't want to not play for 2 weeks, I'm sure, as a hockey player and things like that. But I think from a team perspective, I think it really couldn't have come at a better time for you guys injury-wise and just, kind of hit the reset button a little. You started off, 2-0, then you guys lost 3 in a row, so looking to certainly rebound on Monday, the big rivalry. So what is the game, from a player's perspective? I've never had the opportunity to play in front of a crowd like that. I did have the opportunity. I played a couple of games at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum back in the day when I played college hockey on Long Island, but there maybe was 115 people in the stands, and 4 of them, were my father, mother, and brother. So it's got to be something to come out, the tunnel and see, 8,000, 6,000, 8,000 people, at PNC Arena to see you guys. How does that feel? What does that feel like? Because I'm jealous. I want to know.
It's something like I've never experienced before. I played school hockey in Michigan at a boarding school up there.
Oh wow!
And we made it to we always had a good crowd from our students, and then we made it to the state semifinals, which is played at the USA Hockey like development center. It's where like the Plymouth Whalers used to play when like in the OHL. It's a big arena.
That's cool.
And I thought that was a big crowd, and then I got out there for the NC State UNC game last November, and that was like something I've never seen before. It's pretty nerve-wracking. It's nice that you can go out there and have warm-ups and then go back inside because your heart gets pounding, like all of those people just watching you.
Yeah.
But then as soon as the first puck drops, maybe the first shift, I might have some shaky legs, some butterflies in the stomach. But after the first puck drop, like everybody in the building sort of just gets toned out, and like you don't even really think about it anymore. The only time, honestly, that you really remember that everybody's watching you is when state or something scores, and it just gets deafening in there. So, but it's magical. Like it's seriously one of the coolest experiences I've ever been a part of.
That's awesome. That's what I like to hear. I like to hear somebody say I get butterflies and the heart gets going, and you look around and like that's life. That's living. I mean everything.
Seriously.
Everything else. I'm not poo-pooing every other day, but most days you don't remember. And that's just the way it goes. And then there's those few that you remember, and you remember that. That feeling that you get, and I get fired up, just from broadcasting standpoint. But I can't imagine, and I think it's awesome to hear, that you get fired up on the ice, and I think, feeling the butterflies and everything, that just means that you care, and that's part of being human. And I think it's it's just an awesome part of what people don't realize how big the college hockey scene is down here. It kind of falls under the radar because we are in the college basketball capital of the world, and that's fine. I don't poo-poo that at all, and imagine that college hockey or even college football would surpass that, because that's not ever going to happen. But there is a large amount of people that are very interested in college hockey down here, and it's growing even since I've been involved for the last 2 or 3 years, and it's exciting to see, and I can imagine it'd be exciting on the ice and everything. What is your favorite part of the game during the game? What is your favorite shift, or what do you feel is what you're best at, and what you get excited to hop over the boards and do when it's the assignment's given to you?
Jeez, that's a great question.
Well, thank you. I was up late.
Yeah.
I was watching the Islanders. They were on the West Coast. That's another story.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah. Yikes.
Gosh, honestly, like with that game, I mean, my favorite part of the game is definitely going out for warm-ups and just seeing all the people coming in. But like during the game itself, I feel like I do a pretty good job of really just sort of blacking out everyone who's out in the crowd. So I try to do everything that I can, like that I would in any other game. I will say this game especially gets way more physical than any other game I think I've been a part of.
Oh yeah.
Like it is chippy. There's fighting. There are punches. There will be punches thrown. There will be kids just falling everywhere, like after whistles.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm usually not someone who likes to get involved in altercations like that.
I didn't want to say anything, John. I wasn't going to say it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you could guess. But,
no, you're a heck of a player.
But out of all games, last fall, I ended up at the very end just getting thrown out of the game for a little altercation at the end. So, it brings out the best of you for sure in that regard. And I think, that can be frustrating. That can hurt with penalties. The fans get really into it. It creates a very lively environment from both teams, and the fans are there.
Yeah, and I just hope from a broadcaster / fan perspective that we get officials there. If you're listening, Hannah and Hannah, to the broadcast, and I know that you are, and I want to thank you. that you don't start right away, from the drop of the puck because it's a big crowd and everybody's amped up. You don't start calling the little, ticky-tack penalties and we have, 5 power plays for one team, 4 power plays for the other, in the first period. I think that the game, it's hyped up, and like you said, it is a chippy game and it is a rivalry and both teams are ready to go, and it's awesome. And I hope that they let, the boys play, and the girls, let's not forget Jesse, 5-on-5, for as long as possible. If it's a penalty, it takes away a scoring chance, or if it's an egregious, play where, somebody tries to rip somebody's head off, okay, I'm fine with it. But I get frustrated, when they don't let you guys play 5-on-5 and just, have at it and have a good, hard physical game as long as nothing's, getting out of line or no one's taking any, shots at anybody that, you don't want anybody getting hurt. But I love, a good, hard physical college hockey game, which, you guys deliver every time versus these guys at PNC. So, I'm just sending a little message out to the officials out there to please, leave your whistles at home for the most part and just call icing and offsides.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of inevitable in a game like this. There's just gonna be a lot of chippiness going around. So it's gonna slow down a lot from that, or they're gonna let us play hockey. We'll just have to see.
Yep. Well, I'm definitely hoping for that. So anything different that you and the guys are gonna do over the weekend, knowing that this is coming up on Monday, or are you guys getting together for like a pasta night? Watch some football on Sunday. Is there anything special going on this weekend, knowing what's on the docket for Monday night?
Well, we've got some. As you know, it's fall break, so we're all sort of spreading out a little bit. But we're all coming back by the end of the weekend. We're gonna have a nice sort of run through light skate on Sunday, just to make sure everybody's on the same page about everything. Just very sort of systems oriented, not really tough, like hard practice, just so we have our sea legs on us. And then Sunday night, I think we're all just gonna sort of do our thing, go to sleep early, get our work done, of course, especially for Monday, because you have no time to really do anything Monday. You go to class, and then you're at PNC Arena getting ready for the game, and then you're not home until like 10:30, 11. So I think everyone's just gonna sort of go through their own routine, just make sure that there's no change to how they're doing everything. So when Monday comes, your body's used to what you've been doing, and you're ready to go. For me personally, I'm a very superstitious person.
Me too. I like that.
Yeah, for any sport, hockey, when I watch the Panthers, the Hornets, anything, even the Hurricanes. And so, for this, what's most important to me is just consistency and how my routine, whether it's Sunday or Monday or Tuesday, making sure that the routine's the exact same, so there's no surprises or changes that are coming up.
So like a lucky pair of socks, or a lucky pair of under pantaloons or anything like that?
Well, when it comes to like my undershirts, I have a few different colors, and so I'll sort of base it off of that type deal over there. And then I don't know, just making sure when I'm like not even thinking about the game, I'm just doing my normal things, not throwing myself off with any curveballs at night or anything, things like that. And then game day, I wear the exact same outfit every time until something bad happens, and then I might have to change it up.
I cannot tell you how much I respect that. I as a diehard Patriot fan that I am, I have one shirt that I bring out only for the playoffs, only because I happen to be wearing it the night of the Tuck Rule when the Patriots beat the Raiders. You were probably, I don't even know if you were on the planet then. It was so long ago. It was 2002. You were probably a toddler or something like that.
Yeah, I was 4 then, so I definitely wasn't watching football. But
so I have that same exact shirt that I've worn for every Brady playoff game. But now the shirt is in such disarray. I don't even put it in the wash anymore or the dryer. But it comes out, only 3 or 4 times a year now. So I can't tell you how much I respect the importance of a superstitious outfit. on a
Oh
player.
yeah.
It's absolutely
Oh yeah.
very important.
It's one of the most important things, honestly, too,
Yeah.
for your psyche.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And I, as an amateur sports, psychologist and psychiatrist, because I like to prescribe, I just want to let you know that I second your notion, and I support it with all my heart.
Well, I appreciate the endorsement.
Well, John, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate your time. I know you guys are busy. I want to wish you luck on Monday. I'll see you Monday, and rooting for you guys, and looking forward to just the best game of the year. In short, really, that's what these are, and and just have fun out there, and take a look around every now and then, and just be like, wow, I'm playing in front of 8,000 people at PNC Arena. This is cool, because it really is something special.
Yeah, will do. Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, anytime, and I will see you guys Monday.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks, John. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. John Beeson of the UNC Tar Heels. He's obviously fired up. I like the superstitious ness that he's got going on there, and I definitely appreciate him agreeing with me, to let the officials know that we'd like to see a lot of 5-on-5. We'd like to see a lot of 5-on-5 on Monday. No, I understand you got a job to do, and you got to keep things safe and things moving. If there's a scoring chance taken away, or somebody slashes somebody in the head and all cross checks, across the old chiclets. Yeah, you got to call things of that ilk, and I get that and I respect that. But overall, like to ask that the officials keep things as I got to adjust this. This sounds way too. Yeah, I think he bumped into it. Are you okay? Hold. There we go. That should be a lot better. Hopefully things weren't too muffled there for the interview. I think my pooch landed on the soundboard there. I think he moved it. It's weird the way it's set up. I got to keep it on the floor because the wires got to go one way and go the other way. It's a long story. We're short ending. So that was Mr. John Beeson for the Tar Heels organization. Tomorrow we're going to have on both coaches on at the same time from the organization. See the organizations, plural. See how they feel about the big tilt coming up. I know that they're fired up. And it's funny. It's a funny story because Coach for the Tar Heels, he is a Minnesota boy, and the coach of the Wolfpack, Coach Volkman and Coach, I think it's Gazillo. If I'm mispronouncing your name, Coach, I apologize. He actually grew up really close to me on Long Island, and he's an old Long Island boy. So it should be interesting. Two boys from Long Island and a good old Minnesota boy. I got to ask Coach tomorrow if he's an Islander or a Ranger fan. We'll see. We'll see if we get along, how that goes. Obviously, Coach Volkman is a North Star / Wild fan. That's my list of things to do today. It's not my show list. Or did I write it all on the same list? I sure did. I got my list of things to do and my show prep list. Well, that's all right. You don't mind that. So I want to thank John for coming on today. It was awesome. You'll receive a set of slightly used steak knives. Fortunately, they're self-sharpening, which is why they're off the market in most civilized nations. But I believe in North Carolina they're still legal. If not, feel free to bury them in your backyard. But they'll be coming to you shortly. I didn't know. Actually, I did know because I spoke with somebody from Sports Extra the other day. From the Tar Heel Sports Extra show, which is awesome. You should follow them on Facebook and Twitter. That there is a fall break or something that the boys and girls are off this weekend. I think they've been off of school since yesterday, I believe, at 5 o'clock. So I think they're off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I think it's a fall break for them. I need to be like I need to be a college professor. I need like the university to grant me like an honorary PhD. In like life awesomeness, and then I can teach classes on how to prepare yourselves for when you have a long weekend and things like that. What to plan for, the right things to bring, and how to make sure that things on a road trip don't go awry, which they really don't anymore because of these things. These things have prevented things from going awry, but and I mean think about how many movies and stories that these devices have absolutely, or would have absolutely, ruined. I mean, like vacation and other any story where people get lost or make a wrong turn, should have made a left at Albuquerque, things of that ilk. Anything like that, certainly would be the films would be a lot harder to make today, because of the technology that does take away from situations that you can find yourself or lose yourself in, I suppose would be the correct terminology. So I want to touch on, Sophie and I last night, we both had the Capitals given a goal and a half. Capitals won the game in overtime, so I'm happy the Rangers lost. But that's my second lock in a row that I've gotten wrong, or third lock in a row that I've gotten wrong. I don't know, what's gone on. I've sat down, I've talked to her, I've talked to their teachers. I want to make sure everything's okay. I'm concerned. She's never lost 3 games in a row before. I told her, stop thinking about school. I had the show on last night in the car, so I got to let you guys know this. I had the show on last night in the car. I was driving her home from hockey practice, so she likes to listen to the show whenever she's in the car. She's a big fan, and why not? And I had said yesterday to all of you wonderful people at home and in the internet and the world, I had said that she was in 2nd grade. I misspoke. She is in 3rd grade, and she pointed that out to me, and I wanted to just share that with you and issue a correction, and let you know that I was incorrect there when I had stated what grade she was in. So she's actually in 3rd grade, so I apologize. I am going to make a slight excuse here as to why I may or may not have gotten that wrong. Well, I did get it wrong. The wife, quite a few years ago now, doesn't allow or prefer me to speak with the children's educators or anyone in the educational department in anything that the children have anything to do with. So it's hard for me to keep up as to what grade they're actually in. So she's in 3rd grade. As things turn out, as she pointed out in the car, much disgruntled. And I said, hey, listen, I was like, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, whatever grade you're in, you need to, step it up on the picks. And then we both had the Capitals, and we pick at separate times. I don't tell her what I pick because I think if I did every night, she would just probably pick what I pick because, I'm her dad, so I'm quite, pretty much a very influential guy. I'm her male role model, for her, which saying that out loud is terrifying, but you don't mind that. So I'm confident that we're going to right the ship. We're going to get off the schneid, but she's down to only 1 lock this week. And if you're a fan of the show, and I know that you are, thank you so much. You know that we have Friday nights at 9 p.m. Sophie's Sports and Toy Emporium, and how our show works. It's a big hit. People are loving it, by the way. If you have a little girl, that they watch and they have these shows where other little girls just open up toys and get all excited, talk about the toys, and these shows are huge on YouTube. Millions of people are tuning in, hundreds of thousands, whatever. And parents are making, a tremendous amount of money off of their cute, children. And I'm like, I got cute children. I've got to cash in on this. There's no reason why, my child can't open something up on YouTube and a lot of people watch and, we make a lot of money. So, that's my thinking. And, I'll gladly spend a couple of bucks, go get some toys, every week. You open them up, tell everybody how you feel. And, that's that. And hopefully you all tune in. But I was like, well, this sort of evolved because she sat in as a guest host last week when they were off for Hurricane Michael. So I had her picking her locks of the day. And she went 2-0 last week, too. Maybe we need another hurricane. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe she picks better in hurricanes. The stress of the weather, or maybe it's the barometric pressure. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but we've got to get back. We've got to get it right back to where we, started from with our picks. Both her and I. I've gotten 2 in a row wrong here. She's got 3 in a row. So like I said, we've talked to everybody. We're getting to the bottom of this. We're going to find out, and we're going to know where did we go wrong. So on Friday nights, so every pick that she makes is called a lock. She doesn't even know what it is. She just calls them lock. You can tell she doesn't even know what it is. But every lock that she gets correct is worth $3. Now, if she loses a tooth, she gets money for her teeth. Last night, she got $8 for her tooth last week. My wife gave her $8. I'm like, what? Why are we giving her $8 for a tooth? I'm like, that's ridiculous. I'm like, it's not even like, if that thing was like a piece of gold, I don't even know if it'd be worth $8. And she's like, well, it's her 8th tooth. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? How does the number of teeth, coincide with the compensation, that the tooth fairy leaves. But that's another department I'm really not involved in too much. Or if she scores goals, which is that's what she scored her first goal last week for the Lady Junior Hurricanes. I'm still very proud about that. Still talking about it. Still, just marinating in it. Still, as a proud papa. So one of the dads who's a big fan of the show, we call him Gritty because he's a big guy from Philadelphia. He said, a goal's got to be worth 3 locks. No, and I was like, it is now. Thanks a lot. Just cost me $9. So she started, the week with a goal because the week starts over every Saturday. It goes from Saturday to Friday. So that's 7, right? Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yes, 7. So 7. So she can get, if she scores a goal, it's 3 locks. This is a tooth. I guess it's whatever. I don't know. Currency of the tooth market these days. And each lock is worth $3. So now she's down to just 1 lock right now. She's down to just 1 lock right now. And, she's nervous. I'm nervous. The world's nervous. We don't want to go into the show without a new toy for her to open. Then she's going to have to show old toys, and I don't know how that goes. I don't know how, I don't know the toy, etiquette for toy shows. So she's got to get her act together, and we've got to get our act together, for you, really, to help you out and figure out how we can, help, everybody. Because, I don't want to say anything, to worry my daughter, who's in 3rd grade, obviously, or my wife. But, I got a call again from Ace Rothstein last night, and he said that, Vinny was going to come out, and see me about a few things, which you never want to get that call. I don't think we're at the level, where, the end of casino for me. But if I keep, handing out, I heard something humming. I didn't know what the heck it was, but it sounds like it's a drone outside. Somebody's probably watching it from their drone because they don't want to log in. Which there's no reason for that. The show's free. But so I'm under a lot of pressure tonight. They didn't. I'm sure they're not gonna do anything to her. She's only in 3rd grade, not 2nd, 3rd. But we'll see. We'll see what goes on. One of the things that's gone on in sports. I love when things happen in sports that make people have an opinion on things. The young man from Ohio State this week announced to the university, announced to the world, I guess, that he is going to forego the rest of his season at Ohio State because he's slotted to be a number 1 or number 2 overall pick. He's not going to be a number 1 overall pick. If the Giants have the number 1 overall pick, I don't think the Giants will pass on a quarterback again, although they did the right thing this year, taking Barkley. But they have to pick a quarterback this year because he got injured. He got injured in a game in September, I think the 2nd or 3rd game of the season, tore or hurt really bad a core muscle. I mean, I don't even know. Like, we didn't even have core muscles, when I was growing up or when I was in college or whatever. I don't know, what is a core muscle? What does that mean? And he had to have surgery on his core. I mean, to me, I guess that means he had surgery on his thorax. Either way, it's just no good. So he's in rehab. He was slotted to come back, or slated to come back, I guess. And his brother's in the NFL. His dad was a first-round pick in the NFL. I didn't know that. I heard that on the radio. Didn't know that last part. I knew his brother Joey from the Chargers, whom everybody's jumping on the Charger bandwagon. Look out, the Chargers are the best team in the AFC. They're not. They're good, and I'm a huge fan of Phillip Rivers, but they're still not. They're so incomplete and erratic that they're not going to go to Foxborough in the postseason because they're probably not going to win the division, even though they're only 1 game behind the Chiefs. But they have 1 game left with the Chiefs, and it's in Kansas City. They could beat the Chiefs. I'm not saying maybe they could win the division, but they're not going to go 14-2, and the Chiefs aren't going to lose that many more games. So the Chargers, no matter what their record are, or they have, is not going to be as high as New England's record. Therefore, if they play New England, it's going to be in Foxborough in January, and that's not happening. Sorry, I'm not poo-pooing, not being arrogant, Patriots fan. That I, of course, am and enjoy being. So the Chargers aren't a real threat. No one's really a real threat going to Foxborough in the AFC. Not even Kansas City, I guess, but I don't know. Yeah, it's a lot different in the postseason. It's a lot different when Belichick's got video on you, and it's a lot different in the weather. up in New England. If New England's got to go to Kansas City, that'll be a 50-50 chance. But of course, I'm putting the card here. Right now we're on to Chicago. We got to play Chicago because there's the Khalil Mack. All of a sudden, it's a controversy. It's a controversy with Bill Belichick. Said, why is it a controversy? Bill Belichick, they asked him, what do you think about Khalil Mack? Does he compare to, an all-time, great linebacker? And he's like, there's Lawrence Taylor and there's everybody else. What's the controversy? What's the big deal? Lawrence Taylor's his boy. Lawrence Taylor's the best player he ever saw. He loves Lawrence Taylor. I grew up watching LT. LT, the most dominant defensive player I've ever seen. What's the big deal? Khalil Mack's awesome. There's no question. Khalil Mack's probably the best defensive player in the game today. He's a game changer. You got a game plan for him. You gotta have, big boys on him. He's gonna disrupt plays. He's gonna cause Brady headaches. He's gonna disrupt the time. He's gonna do all that. He's a fantastic, phenomenal, probably Hall of Fame player that you never, ever, ever would trade in a million years. But there's LT and there's everybody else, and that's what Belichick said, and he said in his typical, there's LT and everybody else way, the way he answers questions like, you're an idiot for asking me, and, I can relate to that. But, and now it's a controversy, what is Khalil Mack going to say? Was Bill Belichick, should he have gone there? Did he have to say that? I'm like, you asked him. What do you want the guy to say? He's an LT. LT will always be, the greatest defensive player he's ever seen, ever coached, ever been around. To him, there's LT and there's everybody else. So what? And I promise you, the one guy in the conversation, the one guy in the picture, the one guy that's involved in all this, Khalil Mack, is not at all in any way, shape, or form offended, by what Belichick said. Even to be in the conversation with LT to him at a young age that he's at, where he's at, is probably a compliment to him. But others have got to say, and blah 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 blah. So that's a trumped up. Made up controversy for the middle of the week here. They got to have at least one or two a week, and that's the job of the news media. So it's our job here, to say, get off my lawn, you young whippersnappers, making stuff up like that. You don't know what I know, dang it. That's what we do here. So, back to Bosa. So people are. I am pleasantly surprised. Well, I don't know if I'm surprised. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I'm pleased that the majority of the people seem the consensus in the country seems to agree with me on this issue, which doesn't happen most of the time. I understand that. I'm generally in a minority in the beginning, and then at the end, when it's all said and done, a lot of people have to come to me and say, you were right, I was less right. And I always say to them, listen, I love to say, I told you so. And I truly do. There's nothing more I enjoy than telling you something's going to happen, you telling me it's not going to happen and why it's going to happen, me telling you, no, this is what's going to happen because I know, how people think, feel, act, behave, and believe. I know it. It's very easy to predict on any side of any argument. People are very easy, and what happens in things that are easy to predict. So what normally happens is, people won't say it to me that I was right and they were wrong, generally speaking, but they'll, you could tell I'm correct and they're not, and I'll just be like, hey, listen, I love to let you, I love to say I told you so, and I thoroughly enjoy it. It's one of my favorite things in the whole world. So on this issue, my first reaction was like, good for him. He don't know how Ohio State anything. He's not going to, nor should he risk his payday, his draft stock. As a matter of fact, going into the season, I didn't notice. I'm not a college football expert, especially down at the player level, by any stretch of the imagination. And if you're a fan of the show, I don't pretend to be. I didn't know. Apparently, had he come out in the draft last year, which he wasn't eligible to age-wise, legally by the collective bargaining agreement for the NFL. That he probably, quite possibly, would have been the number one pick overall. Certainly would have been in, top 3, top 5. That's even going late. He would be right there. So there really is no uptick. What's the word I'm looking for? There's no room for him to improve his situation. Really, this year it's really going to be more of who's picking number 1 or number 2 as to where he gets picked. If it's a team that needs a quarterback, they're not going to pick him. If it's a team that has a quarterback, they're probably going to pick him. From what I read, from what I understand, and I'm going to leave it at like, okay, you guys know more than me. I'll concede there, because if not, I'm talking, from the wrong end of my mouth. So if I'm that young man to begin with, I don't even know in a million years if he should even be taking the field this year. If he was going to be, possibly the first pick overall in last year's draft, if he's going to be, or if he was going to be top 3, I mean, where are you going to go up, from that? How much more is your stock going to go up? And there is, as we all know, because the NFL veterans threw the rookies under the bus, the last collective bargaining agreement, there's a very, very severe rookie cap. And if you drop out of the top 10, I mean, you're talking, tens and tens of millions of dollars on that initial contract. And if something happens in those first 4 or 5 years where you get hurt or you don't pan out or whatever, and not saying the guy wouldn't pan out, but, a lot of guys do get hurt or a lot of things happen when you're on a team that's just not good, or, somebody accuses you of throwing ice at somebody in a bar. Anything can happen, and then you never ever get that huge payday. Now I know you're saying, $20 million for 5 years, the guy shouldn't be complaining. It's a lot more money, than I'm going to make. I get that, and I understand that, but I don't agree or want to hear that argument, because the man is worth what the man is worth, that someone's going to pay him, and the fact that there aren't even salary caps at all in sport, in any sport, in my opinion, is an absolute crime criminal. It's disgusting. The only leverage that the owners have over these players is that the players' playing life is limited, especially in football. So they're not going to sit out, for a year or 2 years to break the backs of the owners. The owners will bring in scab players. They've proven that in the past too. So the players, it takes a lot. But the fact that, especially NFL players, the fact that these guys do not have guaranteed contracts when these guys are creating the most revenue, the most eyes on the TV and devices or whatever, how things are rated nowadays. The biggest sport on the planet, I guess you can argue soccer, but I'm an American, so the biggest sport on the planet, football. The fact that these guys' contracts, are not guaranteed, and they're guaranteed in the NBA, they're guaranteed in the NHL, they're guaranteed in baseball. Baseball doesn't even have a salary cap. NBA doesn't really. It has a salary cap, but it has, taxes. I think baseball has taxes as well, which the teams that, are phenomenally, up there and, don't mind paying the taxes because it doesn't matter because either it's going to be a tax write-off or they want to win because they're not making, their money is not made from the team. A lot of the owners nowadays, their income is not reliant on the team. The team doesn't pay their mortgage as it did 50, 60, 70 years ago. But the fact that NFL football players' contracts are not guaranteed, to me, it's utterly baffling. But the reason being, the only logical reason being, is that they have such a short shelf life where they can play in the NFL because of the physicality of the sport, that nobody wants to sit out an entire year or two, maybe, and maybe even then end up replaced by substitute scab players, if you will, to not get paid their $2, $3, $4 million, which they're never going to get anywhere else again. And I understand that, and it's a tough spot to be in. But why in the world would this kid risk anything for Ohio State, the Ohio State University? What in the world did the Buckeyes and the Ohio State University ever do for this kid? And please, please, please don't give me the load pile. I have elevated ceilings here where we live, and it's beautiful, and I love it. But do not give me the pile of bull crap that would go right through this friggin' ceiling if you're going to tell me he gets a scholarship and that's worth, $500,000. No, it's not. It's not worth a dime. It's not worth diddly squat. Not because they don't go, not because the kid doesn't graduate. A lot of kids only go for a year or two. But no, not because of that. Because they're giving him something that they've already paid for. It's not like they created something, gave him something, spent $500,000 and said, here you go, Mr. Bosa, this is for you. All they're giving him is a seat in the university that's already there, that's already created, that they've already paid for, that they're just not getting the money, from somebody else. But the return on his seat that they already paid for. So they're giving him, what they're giving him, that seat at the university, in the classes and everything, that's all that is at cost. Okay, you could say, oh yeah, a seat, a scholarship to Duke University is worth $500,000 over 3 years or something, something like that. between room and board and what it costs to go there. I'm not even getting into the cheating or they're giving the family a house or anything. I don't even want to get into that. It doesn't interest me. I don't care anything of that crap. Or the kid sold a pair of sneakers so we can't play for 4 games. Please take that. Go somewhere else with that discussion. I have no use for it. I'm not interested in it. It's a waste of our time. It's a waste of your time, and I won't waste your most precious and limited commodity that you'll ever have on anything like that. So don't give me this pile of poop that they're getting a scholarship. It's worth all this money. No, they're getting something at cost to the university that's already there. The university is already paid for. It's just a seat. Okay, they're not hiring new professors. They're not building a new dorm. They're not doing anything for this child. Except for giving him a seat that was already there that they're not going to get paid for. So, please. And then they're making, hundreds of millions of dollars off of the football team every year, which also, as far as the university goes, I don't begrudge them. Good for them. Their job is to make money. Their job is to, raise donors, make money for the university, make money for the community, grow the university, grow the program, grow the programs, grow the academic programs, grow, make money. Don't begrudge that at all. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with them making as much money as they can off of the football team because the football team generates, hundreds of millions of dollars a year for a school like Ohio State. Good for them. Good for you. Good for the community. Columbus, the city. I've never been there. I hear it's a phenomenal town. It's just the Buckeyes and the Blue Jackets. And what's awesome too about Columbus this year is they always have a fantastic football team. They always have a very good basketball team. The Ohio State Buckeye hockey team right now is the preseason number 1 to go to the Final Four and win it all for the school. So I mean, that's awesome, and all that doesn't happen unless you're making money. I mean, call it what you will. It's fine. Football's there to make money. Basketball's there to make money. Hockey's there to make money. But it also, a lot of the money does get allocated to the smaller sports that don't make money, like swimming, volleyball, golf, things like that, where there's not 100,000 people out there watching. And that's awesome too, because then they get to have those programs, and those kids get to have scholarships, go to school, and play college sports. It's all good. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying, and I'm really pleased to see the nation as a whole, the broadcasters as a whole, everybody's come around. This has come around like 180 degrees, and I've been saying this for a very, very long time. I know that the show is new, so you're like, yeah, Scotty, easy to say now, but we don't lie on Glenda. We're family. When you're on Glenda, you're family. Come over here, get some sauce. Go across the street, get some gravy. All good. Glenda's good. Glenda's family. So we're family. So I'm not lying. I have been saying for years that the scholarship, argument is absolute garbage. Now, you want to get into whether the guy should be paid or compensated. I don't know. It's a big Pandora's box, and it opens up a tremendous amount of issues. What I do have a problem with is telling a young man who's 18 that he doesn't have a right to earn a living, that he can't play in the NBA. Until he's 19 or he spends a year, in college, or he can't play in the NFL until he's 20 and he spends it. Now the NFL, I understand the logical medical argument there certainly comes into play, that you don't want an 18-year-old kid, who graduated high school, in June, lining up, against Ray Lewis, at training camp in July. That could end very badly, and that, I can certainly understand that, especially from a parent's perspective or point of view, my point of view. So there is that argument there. However, I still have a problem with denying a person who is an adult at 18, by all legal standards, denying them the right to earn a living in their profession of choice. So the other sports like basketball, that's simply done. That's not done for the safety of the player, because I don't care, if you graduated high school in June and you're lining up against LeBron James in October, it's not the same as graduating in June and lining up against, Ray Lewis. It's different. Now, LeBron James, can and will run you over, and it might hurt a little, but it's not, we're not talking. But at the same token, I mean, you get 18-year-olds all the time, graduate high school in June. They're on the ice in October. Happens every year. Top 2 or 3 picks are out there. They're 18 years old. These guys are, the guy on the Hurricanes, Smeltnikov, that guy. Now he happens to be a very big dude. I saw him in person. He's actually a lot bigger than some of the guys in the locker room. But you see, I remember, and I don't mean to open up a can of worms here, because the guy's a giant piece of poop, and I hope that his pajamas get lost in the wash, and his mom washes his pajamas with like something, a bunch of different colors, and the bleach gets in and it runs all over and ruins his pajamas. I'm not saying I don't wish that, because I do. I want his pajamas should be ruined. But I remember when John Tavares first came to the Islanders. He was the first overall pick in 2009, and they drafted him. I think the draft for hockey is in June or July. I think it's in June, late June, after the Cup, a couple weeks after the Cup. So he was out at Citi Field. He came out and they had him throw the first pitch. It was the Islanders' first pick overall, John Tavares, blah, blah, blah. Came out and threw the first pick, and there's a picture of it. I'll find it, and I'll put it on our social media for the Glenda Love Navy out there. There's a picture of John Tavares as an 18-year-old kid shaking hands with David Wright, who is 2009. So David Wright's probably, in his mid to late 20s, 27, 28 years old, in the prime of his career, prime of his life. And David Wright, if you remember, if you're from New York or you're a baseball fan, you remember back. David Wright, in the later middle prime of his career, was a large man. I mean, he was jacked up. He was on, I'm not saying he was taking, the vitamins that the McGuire and Sosa were taking, but he was certainly working out a lot and using modern medicine, to benefit his body. Not accusing him of cheating or anything. Not that I think taking steroids is cheating anyway. But I just think it's the advancement of humanity. I think everything Jose Canseco ever said, believed, or did was absolutely right. But that aside, there's a picture of, on the mound, there's a picture of David Wright and John Tavares shaking hands. Now, Tavares was about the same height as him. He's about 6'1". David Wright's about 6'1", and they're about the same height. But you could just see, and Tavares was only 18 years old, not his fault. And David Wright was a grown man. Let's see, how old was David Wright? We have to at least once a day go to Google and look something up that we didn't know prior. It's so much fun. Look what happened earlier in the week. We were talking about Planet of the Apes. And then we found out, I found out, I don't know, you knew it. If you did, yeah, that's awesome. God bless you. Good job. That Rod Serling wrote Planet of the Apes, the creator of The Twilight Zone, wrote the screenplay for the original Planet of the Apes. That was a watershed moment for me, I'll tell you. David Wright. Okay. D-O-B. Stands for date of birth, people. Let's see here. All right, so he's born in 1982. So now we're going to go to our handy-dandy calculator. So 1982, here's our calculator. 1992, 2002, he was 20. So 2009, so he's 27. Yeah, like I said, 27, 28 years old. So he's 27 years old, prime of his career, grown man. Tavares is 18 years old, so he's 8 or 9 years younger, depends on how much core math you do. Which, by the way, did you see the recent results that came out that the United States ACT math scores are the lowest they've been in the last 15 years? What a coincidence. What do you think started about 15 years ago? Ladies and gentlemen, don't do that new core math. I'm telling you, stay away from that new core math. It kills your brain cells, son. Kills your brain cells. Math is math. Mr. Incredible was right. So he's about 9 years older than Tavares, and he's just, he's shaking hands with him. Let me see if I can find the picture, ladies and gentlemen. I will. Let me see. We're going to Google. That's the internationally recognized sign for going to Google. Let's see if I type in David Wright. Not David Wrote. David Wright. No. G-H-T. Pick with John. John Wayne comes up. That's funny. Tavares. There it is. There we go. That's a perfect shot right there. That's the one I'm thinking of right there. I'm going to put this on the screen for you. Hold on just a moment, please, ladies and gentlemen. Hold. So my point is that young men of this stature, 18 years old, in hockey and basketball and other sports. Oh boy, where'd you go? Oh kids. Oh boy. Oh, what's that sign say? Wally World. And I lost it. I know I did something with it. Aha. Alright, there we go. Okay, I'll leave that right there. Hold on. I will come around. This is the type of dedication that this show has. I'm going to get up. work that way for the wire. But I'm gonna bring the picture up to the camera, and then we'll pontificate a little more together. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about. See, right there. I mean, you could tell. I mean, it's a 27-year-old man and an 18-year-old boy, and it's fine. So, but I do have a problem. And there's guys in the NHL. When Tavares joined the NHL in 2009, that I'm sure were a lot bigger than David Wright too. So the guys in the NHL, often have to come in, on the slighter side of things just because they're 18, but they make it through. But I understand that that's the argument why you're not going to let an 18-year-old play in the NFL. But I do still have a problem with denying a young man's right to earn a living. As far as the locks go tonight, though, tonight the good thing about the locks is I put it in last night. So let's see if it changed, because last night I got it to pick 'em. Watch what if it changes again. I'm look at that. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. I said to you yesterday, I said, take the Denver Broncos. I'm writing it down. I'm putting it in tonight, and I put it in. I took the Denver Broncos yesterday as a pick 'em, ladies and gentlemen. I took them yesterday as a pick 'em. I told you to do it. Although I shouldn't really be pointing fingers out, because I've got last 2 nights I've been 0-2 on my locks, and my daughter Sophia has been 0-3 on her last 3. So combination, the Bonners have been 0-5 on our last 5. But I mean, look at this. This is a great love to say I told you so moment. Here is a great love to say I told you so moment. Okay? I said yesterday, take the Broncos. It's a pick 'em. I'm taking them right now. I wrote it down. It's my lock for tomorrow night. Bam. Took the Broncos. I go back. I check it now, right here. Me and you live together. Broncos are -2. Broncos are -2. Now, had you taken my advice, had you bought when I told you to buy, which I'm sure many of you did, and I want to thank you, and you're welcome. It's not. I don't mind doing it. I enjoy doing it. It's something. Know that when I'm right, you're going to hear about it. When I'm wrong, then I'll say I'm wrong, I guess. So anyway, I said take the Broncos yesterday as a pick 'em. Broncos -2. Boom. So you know what? I got the Broncos as a pick 'em. So tonight's lock it up. Scotty lock of the night. Denver Broncos pick 'em. I hope you listen to me. Now that they're at a -2, you're on your own. I can't tell you what to do at a -2. I think the Broncos are going to win the game. I think the Broncos are going to win the game handily. I think Arizona's in trouble. I think Denver's going to come out. I don't think Denver's nearly as bad as people think they are. They are who we thought they were, type of team. But that's my lock of the night. So we'll have Sophie's up there. So anyway, my point really being about the Bosa thing is that I'm very happy to see that the majority of sportscasters, majority of people, majority of Americans, majority of people on Twitter, and isn't that just a reaction? I always step back and listen to the reaction, because it's generally speaking, usually all in one corner for the most part, and some people go off the rails and be too much about something, but I think 10, 15 years ago, not Joey Bosa, sorry, Nick Bosa. People would have been all over this guy. How do you quit on your teammates? That's not right. You owe the school a scholarship, blah, 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 and all that garbage. And I'm glad to see that the society as a whole is siding here with the individual and saying, I wouldn't, risk dropping out of the top 3 picks, for you, Ohio State. What have you done for me? Yeah, he's got to go talk to his teammates. Yeah, he's got to look them in the eye and say, guys, I'm not coming back. Who knows if he's even healthy enough to come back? The guy had surgery in September, although supposedly he is. But I'm not, because of HIPAA, I can't look at his medical records. Thanks a lot, Hillary. So I can't look at his medical records because they're private. So I'm not going to, go into whether he's going to be back or not going to be back, or whether he should rush back, or, I'm sure Ohio State fans are like, if he came back, we'd have a shot to beat Alabama. And I understand. I respect that. I expect you to be illogical as a fan and say, this guy should come back, and that's fine if you're an Ohio State, diehard. That I can respect. But I'm happy to see that, in general, for the most part, people are realizing that these young men and women out there that are making money for these universities are nothing but absolute pawns for these universities now. And like I said, I'm fine with it. The children don't have to do it. They're doing it of their own free volition, and they get, a springboard or a bridge, to the NFL, to professional sports, and it's part of it. And I do respect it, but I'm also glad to see that I think society is really turned the corner on now. It's like, no, screw that. I would leave too. The kid's right to leave. The school doesn't owe him, he doesn't owe the school anything. As a matter of fact, he's given the school more than the school will ever give him already at this point. Even if he's never going to play another down. He left school. For them, of course, I didn't get a chance to get into so many things I wanted to get into today. This happens all the time on this show. An hour and a half goes by in like 5 minutes. Wanted to talk about the crazy baseball games last night. Oh my God, I'm telling you, I have not been into baseball much in, honestly 15, 20 years, but both of these series are so excellent, especially the Dodger one. I mean, for the Brewers to come out and let the guy start and throw 5 pitches and then pull him, and he's the starter for Game 6. I mean, whatever, it's awesome. It doesn't matter. If you win, it's awesome. If you lose, then you're like, what the heck are you doing here? We're headed back to Milwaukee. The Dodgers are up 3-2. Just a crazy couple of games out in L.A. when they were down 2-0. They lost Game 3 4-0. Guys in the locker room were complaining about the atmosphere in the stands, that people weren't fired up enough. They win the crazy 13-inning game. Then they win last night. And now it's headed back to Milwaukee, which, as you know, is Algonquin for the good land. Up 3-2. And believe me, don't don't think that this isn't true at all. The networks and everybody involved, Major League Baseball, certainly would like a Los Angeles-Boston World Series over Houston-Milwaukee. Is what it is. It's about markets and about marketability and teams' national recognition. You're not going to get anything bigger besides Boston on the Eastern Seaboard outside of the Yankees, but I would say Yankees and Boston are almost a toss-up. Yankees a little bit bigger, but if they have to settle for the Red Sox, and they got a Red Sox-Yankees series leading up to it, the networks are like, oh yeah, that's fine, we'll sign for that. Right away, sign right now. And in the NL, outside of the Cubs, I don't think that there's a bigger team than the Dodgers, market-wise, prestige-wise, history-wise, all that jazz. Kirk Gibson, Oral Hershiser. That's recent history. Of course, Sandy Koufax, the Brooklyn Dodgers. You still got, believe it or not, there are still a lot of people in New York that are Dodger fans. Less and less as time goes on. Unfortunately, the immortality pill has not been perfected yet. Ponce de Leon. If I was making a pill, I would call it Ponce, or I'd call it de Leon. So Pfizer, if you need a marketing guy for your, immortality pill. Which, oh man, I'm liking where this novel's going. Speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, I'm also a novelist, so if you're interested in my novel, we're in the process of editing it. Wrote it a long time ago, but I'm finally getting it done. Enough with not doing things. Life is just too short. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask everybody to just take a quick moment today to just be extra, be kind to everybody, to one another today. If you can, for me, just be a little bit extra kind today. I would appreciate it. Today's a day. Take that extra second to be kind to one another today and for the rest of the month, if you could, for Glenda. It would be much appreciated. So sorry we didn't get deep into the playoffs. Didn't get too deep into the NHL. Rangers looking good. Rangers lost in overtime. The Islanders are sinking like a ship. Quickly though, let's look at the NHL tonight. Not for strictly gambling purposes. There's a whole lot on the docket. Avalanche to the Devils. Devils might be the best team in hockey. Who told you? This guy. Penguins at Maple Leafs. Go Penguins, go. Like to see Mario Lemieux come out of retirement for tonight's game. I don't see why that's impossible. Flyers at Blue Jackets. That's a good game. We talked about Ohio State and the city of Columbus thoroughly here. Red Wings at Lightning. That's going to be a debacle. Canucks at Jets. Coyotes at Blackhawks. The Bruins continuing their West Coast swing. Oh, another thing real quick. And I'll put it on Twitter. I saw this morning, I woke up, really dangerous, horrible hit on Johnny Gaudreau last night during their win against the Bruins. I Googled it, I played it, it was in the link, I played it. Yeah, you got hit kind of up high, you got knocked down. It wasn't, come on, people, please stop with the, ridiculous, dangerous, out of this world hit. Gaudreau's not a big guy. which, whatever. I mean, God bless him. He's a fantastic hockey player. And the guy came in, little, one of those plays at the side of the net. Guy came in high, knocked him down. Maybe got a concussion. I don't know, but it wasn't nice. Come on, it wasn't the end of the world. The Islanders continue their tour in California. They're at the Kings tonight, and the Sabres are out at the Sharks. So a lot of good games tonight. So I'll obviously be watching the Islander game as much as I can late night. I'll definitely watching the Bruins and the Oilers and Connor McDavid. I always will keep an eye on Connor McDavid whatever I can. Certainly interested in the Penguins Maple Leafs game, although I would not be surprised if the Maple Leafs are going to run them out of the building tonight. I think I'm sending a message that they want to send a message. This is our conference now. They beat the Capitals on Saturday, and they got a chance to beat the Penguins, pretty much 1-1A in the conference. And the Devils are going to keep marching on. They've only let up 4 goals. In their games so far. Is that correct? I believe they've only let up 4 goals, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the Devils have let up 4 goals in 4 games and scored 17. And they're playing the Avalanche tonight, and the Avalanche are not bad, 3-1-2. But I like the Devils. Tonight. That would be not a lock, because my lock is the Broncos as the pick'em. And I believe the Red Sox, who won that crazy game that we didn't even get into with the fan interference or not. I believe they play tonight. Do they play tonight? Yes, they play tonight, and the Red Sox could finish it out in the Astrodome, or I don't think it's called the Astrodome now. I think it's called the Train Dome. They still got that train that goes across the top when they hit a home run. Yeah, that's stupid. Do they still have that mound in center field? I gotta look that up. I don't know. Now I guess we'll just have to dive into the field configurations at whatever the heck the field is called nowadays in Houston. They used to have that giant mound out in center field. Whatever. I don't know. Ended up calling it interference. Looked like the ball was gone. A little bit of controversy, I guess that's the way things go nowadays. So keep an eye out for Sophie's lock tonight. She's got to get out there tonight. She's down to only 1 lock. She's down to only $3. So we really need to win these next 2 nights, or she needs to score. But she doesn't have a game until Saturday, which is after the program. So she's really up against it. We'll see how she does with the pressure on. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. I want to thank Mr. John Beeson for coming on from the Tar Heels. Remember, the big one is Monday night at PNC Arena, NC State and UNC going at it. I can't wait for that game. I am beyond fired up for that one. And tonight, a couple of excellent tilts, and of course the baseball game and the football game's on tonight. So the docket is packed. I'm going to have the remote. I got to make sure they are charged up tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys are awesome, and please, please, please be kind to one another, at least even if just for today. Thank you so much. I'm your host, Scotty Bonner. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode. Tomorrow we got the coaches of NC State and UNC on the phone at the same time. Oh, the pressure cooker could start going. And we got Sam Benisevich coming on tomorrow, the captain and fellow redhead of the NC State Wolfpack. So welcome to Glenda, ladies and gentlemen. I will see everybody tomorrow. Good night. Have a great night. Thank you so much for all your support. You guys are awesome. Be kind.